So I just seen Alex O'Connor's video where he takes on 20 Christians, and I thought to myself, if it's possible, I want to make this video for Alex O'Connor. As a former fan, as a former atheist, I used to watch a lot of Cosmic Skeptic videos, but I would like to shed some light into his 4 questions about that he was hoping to get answered, didn't really get answered. One of the questions he had is, Jesus never claimed to be God. Okay, first of all, I think we need to be really honest when answering dealing questions like this, especially you, Alex O'Connor, not just as Christians. Yeah, first of all, Jesus never directly claimed I am God. Never used them exact words. Maybe not even in the original language. I'm not even trying to say that he used that in English. But let's look at the language surrounding what happened. First of all, he has said things like, before Moses was, I am, or he who has seen me has seen the Father, and the things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? Or when Peter claiming for him to be the Messiah. Then there's the fact that he was literally crucified for the sin of blasphemy. I'm not sure if you know this, but blasphemy is what happens when someone claims to be God. Okay? Now, why wouldn't he claim to be God outright? Think about this logically, man. If someone came up to you and said, I am God, would you believe him just because he said so? No. No, it's the actions, right? We need a lot of honesty, man. Like, the thing is, we're pretending there's a lot of ambiguity for the sake of maintaining platform, because if you didn't have that platform, you lose all monetary value, right? But if you care about the truth, then this should be far more important, and you might actually realize you might have actual more influence if you were actually to take on the truth. Yeah, then you had a question about how God commanded genocide, basically, right? I just think it's funny, man. To me, it's a type of self-righteous indignation. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see anything wrong with the whole Nazi party getting wiped out, but hey, if God's wiping a party out, he must have been wrong. In situations like this, we got to give God benefit of the doubt instead of acting like we our own moral arbiters of what's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an all-knowing God, and we as a limited knowing, not all-knowing people, we have a limited amount of information. Faith becomes really useful here for being able to give God the benefit of the doubt and understand, like, hey, there has to be a reason for why he does things. So if you were to have this mindset, you can come up with millions of reasons why God would decide to do something. Like something like you wiping off a whole society. Like, for instance, like if you didn't shoot Hitler, bro, if you were right there in front of Hitler in the middle of the war and you didn't shoot him, I wouldn't be on your side saying like you shouldn't have committed genocide or whatever. Nah, bro, but you should have shot that dude. That would have been the right thing to do in that situation. So that's the way I look about in any instance God has decided to take any life. Like for millions of years, humankind has been in this pattern of conquering each other, and just going to all the lands and invading and conquering each other, and there's probably thousands of nameless tribes you never heard of in Mesoamerica or in Africa. You never even heard of that got conquered by what we think are Aboriginal, right? I never hear you acting like that's some sort of morally disgusting act. It's because the language you're trying to surround this sort of thing with is made to portray God as if he's the villain, and you're trying to just paint him as a villain. It's not actually rationalizing these logical facts. So why would somebody have a problem with God conquering lands and not a problem with human conquering lands? That makes no sense. And before I head out, I should put this in here. I'm gonna edit this in here. Yeah, I don't believe in might makes right. I believe God makes right. I believe God is the only one who's equipped to see, like Doctor Strange in that movie Endgame, to see multiple possible realities and trying to steward, kind of steer the fate of all humankind in whatever direction necessary to make it the most optimal one. And we as human beings, we don't know which is the most optimal reality. It could be this is the most optimal reality. And the actions he took, I mean, like, killing is wrong, right? Or murder is wrong. That's something God doesn't go back on. But it's true, he's committed genocide, basically. But see, like I said, if we give God the benefit of the doubt, it's easy to imagine that maybe this was a society that was bound, whichever way, in every possible way, it was bound for destruction, whether it's destruction for itself or other societies. And God is the only one who could possibly see that sort of thing. Yeah, there's been situations like Hitler, like where we don't know if he acted or not. But I'm in the the idea that he has acted. But if he did, someone might argue, like Alex O'Connor, that how come he didn't send people the same way he sent people to the Nazis, you know what I'm saying? Or I mean to the Malachites and whatnot. Well, see, we don't know what God knows in that situation, really. Like versus back then, like, dude, what if there was no type of military might to stop that? Or what if the snowball effect was too great for that sort of thing? And nowadays, like, well, what if God can see like what we're actually capable of, or what if God gave us that responsibility? What if God wants us to grow in that aspect and not it doesn't want himself to be continually the one having to wipe out evil civilizations? There's a lot of things you can go with this. So yeah. See, I don't understand how suffering makes God unlikely. Like, it's assuming. It's the hubris of assuming that you could have created a much better world, not knowing the full reasons why God is acting, or why the way something is the way it is. The hubris of that, and yeah. I mean, suffering seems very. I don't see how suffering disproves God in any way. Honestly, God Himself came down to suffer as Christ on the cross. And yeah, God. I mean, at least the God we believe in, we as Christians we believe in, is a suffering God. So I don't understand how suffering disproves God. I mean, like, you expect God to violate free will to stop suffering, to stop what you would consider the bad guy in a situation? Like, if there's a heaven and a hell, does God really need to do anything? Can't He just let things run its course and everything will be made right through heaven and hell? Isn't that kind of genius? I think that's what people have a problem with that whole idea, is because they know their arguments start dying and they don't like the idea of that. Yeah. And to say that there's insufficient evidence for the resurrection, I mean, you're allowed to believe that, bro. I mean, your choice. This is where your choice is. This is where people either take their stance or they take their leave. Do you believe there's enough evidence for the resurrection or not? That's on you, man. It's on you. Me, I definitely believe. I used to be an atheist. I used to buy into your arguments. But I believe there's enough evidence, more than enough evidence. I mean, I feel there's a lot of mental gymnastics going on, a lot of blind eyes, a lot of like just straight up attitude, bro. Like, it's not really about what you think. It's people just stereotype religious people as something is obsolete, and because of that, we already don't even process the rationale behind what God could be, because we're already trying to be part of the progress of making religion obsolete because we think it's progress. See, in the end, people like you aren't really focused on the truth. We don't really care about the truth, man. I mean, I would hope so, because I as a former atheist, I did care about the truth. I did care about the truth. When I found out Jesus was real, guess what? I accepted it. See, I think a lot of people atheists struggle with this whole idea. If God is really out here, why hasn't He talked to me? You know what I'm saying? And that's something we would never want to admit. It's a thought that's in there. But if you really think about it, it's a perplexing idea to think that like, God is out here and we're not having no contact. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that would really prove that God is real. You know what I'm saying? We don't see how that'd be too much to ask for. And I feel like a lot of atheists, because of that, like they don't admit that the actual emotional reasons behind like not believing in God. They think it's based on logic, but really it's emotional. God, like they're mad that they don't think God is in their life. And you know, I just don't want people to feel that way, bro. I don't want people to feel like God is not in your life. Like people, I think it's wrong for people to want to feel like so egotistical, like they're the most main character person in the universe. But I think it's good for people to know how much God actually cares about them. You know what I'm saying? And like God, the God of the Bible, the God of Christianity is the only God that does that. It's the only God that dies for you. It's the only God that wants you to go to heaven. It makes the effort to get you into heaven. And then in this lifetime, like, you may not notice that now, but one day you will notice all the things he's done for you, all the times he's been in your life. See, I hope this video actually reaches Alex O'Connor, but I mean, if it doesn't, I hope at least whoever does see this understands what I'm trying to say here, at least, or at least it reaches someone who doesn't believe, and you know, or if it's someone who does believe, I hope it does edify your faith and kind of arms you with ways to defend the truth and whatnot. Yeah, but knowing is as a Christian, that's our struggle, is that we know what is true, but we don't know exactly where people are, where to meet people at to get them to understand it. You know what I'm saying? And when we don't understand, a lot of people like Alex O'Connor, they're really just they're more focused on maintaining a platform. You know what I'm saying? People really want to be celebrities, and this is one form of doing it nowadays. Like when I was atheist, Richard Dawkins was an idol. Fucking pardon my French. Yeah, Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris. I love Sam Harris. I used to look up to Sam Harris, but it's become a celebrity thing for atheists, you know, to try to have a platform. And I feel that's what it is right now. Because I mean, an atheist would never admit they're wrong because they would lose their platform. They got a bunch of atheists. I think it's wrong for us to even believe that these celebrity atheists are actually coming from a place of logic and rationale. If you notice, they're just regurgitating old arguments and not even entertaining the answers, the responses. Or just trying to water the responses down as if they're insufficient because, I don't know, they need to maintain the platform. See, we as Christians, I think we're coming at this the wrong way, honestly. It says in the Bible, let's not convince others with vain repetitions or you know, with elegant speech and whatnot, but through the power and spirit of God. And it makes sense, like how we expect, like if we ourselves were not convinced through, like me personally, it wasn't a person who convinced me. It was the power of God. I wasn't in church when I was converted. I was an atheist in the trap house, and it was the power of God that convinced me. And I think that's what Alex O'Connor really needs. Like we have the logical responses he's looking for, but he's not gonna listen. He's going one ear and out the other. And I mean, especially we have a lot of people representing us that just don't have the right responses. It's just making the whole thing look worse. So we need, the most we can do is, the best we could hope for is for God Himself to intervene, for Him to hopefully somewhere in there, whatever Alex is doing, he's searching, he's looking for God. That's what's hopefully driving that. And yeah, and I hope God sees that. We gotta pray that God shows up for him in some way, so he knows that he's real. I mean, it's good that we put up our defense of the faith, and you know, that one up. But at some point, we gotta actually win his soul. You know what I'm saying? We gotta actually try to win his soul. We gotta actually think about his salvation. We're not thinking about. We're more focused on the response aspect. But But the thing is, if Alex O'Connor doesn't ever plan, if he doesn't want to, he's not actually seeing God. God's not gonna force him. Y'all have to understand. We as Christians, we understand. God is not gonna force him. He's not gonna show up in his life and just force his way. Well, I'm not gonna try to say I know what's going on with Alex O'Connor, and I'm not gonna try to act like I know exactly what God's gonna do. Most of all, but we can hope. You know what I'm saying? We can hope. That's what happened. What happened with me, I hope at the very least, I hope happens with others. I hope others experience God's supernatural power and His Holy Spirit. What that really means, the idea of holiness doesn't really hit until you actually start like thinking about it deeply, honestly. And you don't really do that until you're Christian. And I feel like that's something I hope Alex O'Connor might consider. I don't think you won't fully understand what holiness is until you become a Christian, until you start following Jesus, until you try to actually find what that meaning of that word is and why it matters. Seems just like such a simple term. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at this, y'all. Just wish y'all the best. I hope for the best. Hope Alex O'Connor turns around. Jesus loves y'all, and yeah, take care. God bless. Amen.